incredible victory. I don't think the process is over yet, but that being said, we know that one of the reasons that the company was so intense about completing the pipeline on that time schedule and why there's been so much brutality and horrific treatment of the Sioux and of protesters and the water protectors in general is because if it goes past the December date for construction, the pipeline needs to be renegotiated and the company basically loses money because energy prices have dropped. So this is significant. The Army Corps of Engineers will not grant a permit for the Dakota Access Pipeline to drill under the Missouri River in a major win for activists. I'm going to quote really briefly now from the article in The Guardian. The Army Corps of Engineers will not grant a permit for the Dakota Access Pipeline to drill into the Missouri River, the Army announced on Sunday, handing a major victory to the Sioux Rock Nation tribe after a 12-month campaign against the pipeline. Assistant Secretary for Civil Works Joe Ellen Darcy announced the decision on Sunday with the Army saying it was based on a need to explore alternative routes for the crossing. Now, let's just play this clip. Are we ready to play sound? I want to play the Amy Goodman sound. Amy Goodman. Amy Goodman, of course, the co-host of Democracy Now! And really a veteran and incredibly important journalist and activist. She was there. If you recall, they were actually going to press charges against her for reporting on the ground in North Dakota. And even as we sort of savor this victory and take the lesson that activism and pressure, power only concedes to pressure, is the sort of really important lesson from this. Let's not forget how brutal and how dangerous and how horrific the whole process has been. And this is Amy Goodman's perspective as a journalist, you know, not as a citizen, not as a member of the Sioux who lives there, and not as a sort of day in and day out water protector, just as a journalist doing genuine and important reporting there. Check out her perspective on this that she shares with Brian Stelter on CNN this past weekend.
Covered was chilling. Native Americans came up to a site that the Dakota Access Pipeline was excavating. The Native Americans didn't expect this. It was a long holiday weekend. And the pipeline guards unleashed dogs and pepper spray on the Native American. They call themselves protectors, not protesters.
Water protectors.
We showed the video of a dog with its mouth and nose dripping with blood. When we published it that night, it went viral. 14 million views on Facebook. Every network, including CNN, ran that video coverage. It wasn't, 5 days later, when we were back here in New York, that the North Dakota authorities issued an arrest warrant for me. A month later, I would return with the Democracy Now! Team to continue covering the standoff at Standing Rock. And because I landed in Bismarck, well, the prosecutor said what we had said all along. There weren't grounds to hold us, but then they tried to hit us with a new charge.
A riot charge.
A riot charge, which could land me in jail from a month to a year. But fortunately, after covering more of the standoff that weekend, a judge intervened and said no, though the prosecutor and the sheriff have said that they can still find another way to arrest me. But what's important here is not about me. That was a message to all journalists: do not come to North Dakota, and that's why it's so serious. But most importantly, it's what's happening there on the ground, the largest unification of Native Americans. Over 200 tribes and First Nations from Latin America, the United States, and Canada have gathered, the largest such gathering in decades. Right now, this weekend, is the final standoff.
Hundreds of veterans, maybe thousands of veterans arriving there this weekend.
They're saying 2,000 veterans, native and non-native veterans.
And Monday's a new deadline.
And of course, Wes Clark Jr., who I talked to a couple of weeks ago, was a major part of that effort to bring veterans there to protect the protectors. So incredibly important and deep lessons for all of us. And we'll just play this celebration of fireworks of the victory for just a second that it was played at the No DAPL camp. It's great.
Could have been done a while ago. I think they probably should have made this determination maybe months ago.
Oh, definitely.
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.